What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the second EP by by 2020's pop singer David. Basically, this product is called The Lost Petals, and it came out in the late summer of 2023. Now, the fair about this product here is this is a cat that's been up on the coming scene as far as those pitches can happen within the aspects. Big TikTok singer, pitches like that, some of those type of ordeals. Kind of more or less like the next Juice Wrld, I would say, within the pitches from what I've heard from him here. Pitches like that, some of those type fairs. Also, if you remember the cat Khalid, who's kind of a cat that did, I was going to get to some of his music. I need to fuck around and get to it, but he was a product of like the mid-late 2010s, pitches like that, with like the Free Spirit album, which I did purchase, that particular kind of pop slash R&B type appeal, pitches like that out of between like 2017, more within like the morning shift kind of makeshift kind of commerce and embark as far as those pitch albums, excellent type of ordeals, a little bit more organized than Juice Wrld, but a little bit less kind of kempt than. A little bit more organized than Juice Wrld, but a little bit less kempt than like Khalid, and a little bit more cut loose than Khalid as far as those pitch albums. It's just within the aspects as far as saying. Now, the unfortunate thing, the main thing that mars this particular cat is the come up. I mean, this packaging of this product is going to get a 10 out of 10 pitch like that. I recommend all 5 songs. But this pitch as far as saying that his relatively short-lived career was marred pretty immediately with like the unfortunate turn of events that happened just as of even very recently in September 2025 with Celeste Rivas. As far as these pitches going to happen, she unfortunately passed on, and her body was found registered in a vehicle, the David, as far as those pitch happen. So it's within the aspect. Now, the particular fair about it, it's a mystery as to it's a mystery to the aspects of what particularly kind of happened. Was this within pitch? It is a very vastly unfortunate situation within those turns. I definitely think, really within the fair, it's kind of a misconduct within the pitch behind. I just would say within the aspect behind. I don't really get the composition of where that particular diva was kind of going. It's not. Not to say within the aspect of it being her fault, but kind of the pitch. If she was 13 around that time, it's just kind of pitch as far as saying it's just within the aspect that it just kind of had like a strange composition, considering that David would have been 17, 18, 19 around that time as far as those pitches can happen within the aspect between. I mean, considering that they had said that she would have turned 15 this last month, it's kind of the pitch that if she would have been 13 when she disappeared, would have been the pitch as far as saying. It was just the composition as far as the aspects behind that was just didn't make sense that she was even within those turn of events, within those aspects as far as those fairs can happen. It's unfortunate, definitely to say within those tones as far as those pitch can happen. Definitely I would be surprised David was not trying to pick up like some bar chicks pitches like that within those ordeals, within some of those ordeals. It's not to say that David had anything. I'm not pointing the finger within the direction of David as far as those pitch can happen. It's just the pitch as far as saying just the aspect behind those particular fairs is just kind of a strange composition. But that's just the tone behind it. Definite strange type of events. But I look within the pitch as far as saying this, the result of this, the unfortunate thing about it is just the aspect that David does have some pretty promising music as far as those aspects going to happen. Really, he supposedly, depending upon the turnout of some of this, really only got to drop 3 projects. This is one of them. So it's excellent with the pitch as far as saying classic EP here. Definitely on the aspect like some morning vibes pitches like that. This has a pretty good composition. It's just the aspect like something that could have been some everyday type material, despite the fact that none of the songs off this project charted. It does have the aspect as far as saying within those tones that just getting towards like the product of basically is just like a 2020s and TikTok era kind of composition. It's something that you would get for like your morning push as far as going for like Starbucks runs, getting like those pumpkin spice lattes and some of those type pitches within the format and other things like that. The matchas and those sorts of things. The aspect, just the particular type tone, and just the morning push, just in a new era type facet. And it's just kind of the tone, just the composition of like the evolution from what Juice Wrld and Khalid, some of those type folks started, and Ian Dior and a bunch of folks like that. Just pretty much sounds like substandard kind of trendy kind of makeshift contemporary radio out of 2017, 2020, some of those type pitches, just with a more type fashion. So it's just kind of the pitch. But unfortunately, it seems more or less like maybe this era kind of got cut short. But it's just the pitch as far as saying it's just it's a horrible turn of events, but this is a classic project here. So look after it. Recommend all 5 songs. There were 2 singles off this project. Neither of them charted, but I think they did pretty large on like TikTok and fairs like that, just within the more social media compositions. That's the ordeal behind it. But the 2 singles were Notes from a Wrist and Poetic Vulgarity. So Notes from a Wrist is like a harrowing kind of real talk pop grab to kind of get within the aspects of it. This reminds like a more organized kind of Juice Wrld, I'd say, here within the pitch behind it. Same sort of tenor and just overall cadence with the way that the approach the song kind of goes. When you think of a song by Juice Wrld like When you think of a song by Juice Wrld like Lucid Dream, songs that pitches within the format has the particular aspect as far as getting towards that sort of vibe. It's just less harrow within the aspect. I mean, it has like the particular harrow as far as something that just is kind of a more just kind of snag within the composition, just like the day push as far as like the aspect of just getting towards like it's just kind of a composed kind of Dracula-like song that's within the pitch as far as saying this has a real kind of crisp type aspect about it, but it's just within the pitch like a makeshift kind of workaday. So it's just kind of pitch is something that kind of has like that October type conduct, but just more in like a blue collar type sense. It's just the aspect as far as I mean, when you think of like a personality like Keanu Reeves, something like that, with an aspect of like something that would kind of be, where he kind of has that kind of more brooding and kind of more just brooding and kind of aloof type territory within the pitch, but it's not just September, October. It's just kind of pitch of getting some of that just within a more dissonant and kind of bruised type fashion, just within pop kind of makeshift kind of everyday as far as this pitch comes. So it's just a workaday type song pitch like that, but just has the ordeal as far as those aspects going to happen. So just kind of that, this more composition kind of Juice Wrld, just without the drug orientation pitches like that. But it's not to say like you couldn't smoke this, but it's just probably the more tenor as far as supposing that you have some stuff to do within the day fair as far as the pitch can happen, where you may not be able to within pitches like that. But some good type ordeals pitches like that. There is at least one or two smoking songs on here pitches like that, but this is just a more straightforward kind of blue collar type one, and a more more or less kind of a gas type sense, I'd say, within pitch. But look after it. Poetic Vulgarity is the second single. It's another nice one here. This reminds like Khalid, I would say, within the aspects, very much similar to his fashions of what he did on Free Spirit from what I know of him. It's like a wake up and day push kind of sounds like a good wake up and day push to kind of get here within the products of it. Just some morning music, I would definitely say, within the aspect is coffee pitches like that, some of those things. IHOP, some of those that varies from the aspect depending upon the tone, but yeah, just kind of a toasty hit more or less. Some of these do have like some winter compositions, just kind of aspect like those particular discs, brushy and kind of just gray and gusty out type days, pitch like that, just amongst the tenor, just going for like the Tibble type commerce. So some of these type ones, Notes from a Wrist is a little bit more. Notes from a Wrist is a little bit more aghast and haunting within those pitches, but Poetic Vulgarity has a little bit more morning shift. It's kind of in a foggy ass morning, something like that. Some of those type tones is something to kind of have like a Starbucks type run, the Tibble type, just foggy dredge type fashion. Definitely good steadfast kind of pop and new era kind of R&B 2020s pop within pitches like that as far as those sort of deals can happen. Definitely similar to the folks like Ian Dior and definitely some of the folks like Ian Dior and Khalid, some of the stuff folks in the pitch behind. But yeah, I recommend all 5 songs off this EP here, so 10 out of 10 pitches like that. So there's some ones on here, real immediate one to go for to break free from some like the usual kind of music type sense in the more 2020 type fashion, like the just everyday type appeal would be Rehab. This like a nice night reprieve and break free in like an emo kind of post-sesh type fashion, something great for it's like just got done with things, 4:30, 5:30 pitches like that. It's kind of embrace some of that type fair, just getting crunk, joyrides pitches like that. Definitely some Under Oath vibes. Definitely some emo alt metal type vibes like Under Oath and Attack. Some of those type folks in particular, just folks like that, just great for that particular aspect about it. Definitely gave it. I know there's probably more of these within the aspect to think of. Full Bound is just the pitch. I would definitely say Under Oath, some of those type folks within it. Panic at the Disco in certain type senses. Good song to toke to as far as those first amps. So this kind of joyride type music, token, donuts, some of those type pitches, donuts in the whip, some of those type fairs, just the aspect of really having some smoke session, just cut loose as far as those first gonna happen. Now, then the pitch as far as saying this is probably the composition that there need to be more songs like this when you get the aspect behind this song, especially now that it seems like the things have been kind of marred within the aspect of what's happening with his music outputs, kind of pitch that this is a lot more appreciable type song within the pitch because it's just kind of fair. It's a very minor type taste about the aspect of what could have had the viciousness of some of those type products, but definitely a good just cut loose as far as those aspects going to happen. Hollow Prayers is a nice one as well. It's like a woodsy and brushy kind of light lick pop serenade to kind of get within the aspects of it here. It's like some new school kind of makeshift, I would say, within the pitch behind a good type tone for that. Just good song to embark as far as this pitch can happen. So I look after it. This particular one, Hollow Prayers, is just kind of a more peaceful type song within a pitch. Just has the format of something within the more morning music type fashion. I would look after it. Kind of like I feel like Poetic Vulgarity is a little bit more amidst the brush, like to get up towards it as far as this pitch can happen. But maybe Hollow Prayers would be more of like a Sunday type song within pitch. It just like more or less like the Embark Sunday, Monday songs type pitches. It just like the initial, just a little bit more within a kind of just more. It's a little bit more lambent kind of wake-up call as far as this pitch can happen. Not quite as rough as like, hey, I got to be at this place in like 5 or 15 or 25 minutes, but just the aspect of having a little bit more composition and time to kind of have like some time to prepare and pitches like that, just to get like a decent breakfast. Some of those pitches with an aspect just from the tones, but just kind of in a more woodsy type sense. Reminds like the Twilight soundtrack, some of those type ordeals. Pitches like that, just kind of a little bit more not so much to say full-blown folkish, but kind of within the just more folk pop than pitch in like a 2020 type sense. So it's kind of a TikTok type aspect. Not the full-blown say TikTok type aspect, but just more 2020s within social media, more trendiness those times, kind of doing some of that type of. So just kind of missed that pitch a little bit more. Definitely to say woodsy and brushy within those pitches as far as the form is going to happen, but just very alter-like, some type tones, good type pitch. And so within the aspect, then once more is a quality one as well. It's a good nice one here. It's like a good gummy kind of chillax and connect, I'd say, in like the pink hours as far as pitch like that. And by pink hours, I mean probably past like 7 o'clock p.m. Just for 2020s type aspects within the new school type fashion. It's just a streaming kind of. This is a cozy kind of hangout type song in a more new school type fashion. It's like a snazzy kind of 2020s streaming. This particular song is like a snazzy kind of 2020 streaming bleed, I'd have to say here, just an overall bop. So I look within the pitch as far as saying within the product. It's easy kind of candlelight and incense within pitches like that. This has like it's kind of a good gummy kind of romantic spice about it within those pitches as far as those acids kind of happen. Just the after effect, it is kind of light lick but has a good pop type. And this is a good example of like a 2020s type rendition of like a more serenade within those aspects as far as those pitches kind of just within the tone as far as getting. Like usually when you would think of a ballad, it has a little bit more kind of within the aspect that it's like the has a little bit more impasse and dramatics about it as far as what's going to happen, but this is real kind of just cozy and just the fit behind it just has the aspect just within the tone as far as just something more kind of lazy in aspect as far as those tones kind of happen. So it's just excellent within the pitch as far as those formats going to happen. I would look after within the fair. You would think within the rendition, it's just a good format to kind of get some of these just because within it's kind of within the aspect as far as pulling off like particular kind of more slow jam and balladry within aspects of like current type times. This has the aspect as far as getting towards it with keeping like the spark within the aspect as far as like the viciousness kind of goes along with it to not be to have the connect on the song that just doesn't slow the tone of the pace just too unevenly within those pitches as far as those formats come. So just excellent within the pitch. But I look after here, good type product, just the format. So yeah, just a brief snippet, just a brief compact kind of snippet of like the fairs about what particularly happened here. Just aspects as far as getting towards these. Just kind of the packaging of this is real severe within pitches like that. Definitely has some star power within some of those type products. Considering that David was really, I mean, as of this moment, he's exactly 20. So it's kind of the pitch as far as saying it's just within the aspect as far as supposing there could have been some further type products that could have went along with this with some of these type products. If I had to guess the format of what was going to kind of happen, it's just kind of aspect. I think he was headed in the direction of Juice Wrld, but probably within certain senses might have been able to outstrip him just within the product as far as saying that there's some ones like Notes from a Wrist and Poetic Vulgarity definitely have the department of just being like a trendy kind of ear to the streets type format of something that was kind of within the aspect, definitely within like the mode of knowing what's hot on TikTok and Snapchat and some of these type places and Instagram places like that to be able to know what's popping enough to get towards some of those type products. So he's not over the hill in any sense. It's just kind of fashion as far as saying within these products definitely could have had that appeal. But just look at it as a 10 score for the EP. So score I'd probably give probably more or less like a 10 out of 10. Seems like he was pretty ravenous with his popularity as of this particular moment. Seems like he's kind of at an apex right now, which is unfortunate just because the aspect this is some good type stuff. Seemingly, hopefully it doesn't come to an end. I mean, the aspect behind Celeste Rivas is very unfortunate as far as those tones can happen, but hopefully the workout can be within the composition and just hoping there's more to it within the aspect that's not as sinister as it might possibly kind of sound within those pitches. I mean, it's definitely vastly unfortunate, but hopefully the composition is not actually within those fairs as far as saying that the disaster that kind of happened there was really his or his fault and she was mistreated and like that poor conduct because she, I mean, it's obvious that it wholesomely didn't need to happen within those pitches, but this kind of tones, but it's obvious it didn't need to happen. She's very dope pitches like that. But I look within the ordeals, so just within the pitch as far as saying, I look within the aspect there as far as what's actually going to happen. Just being able to say 10 social, just getting some of these type ones, the morning makeshift, some of these type tones, a little bit of evening type reprieve pitches like that, and like some emo type sessions, a little bit of like a hangout type fashion for like once more. Hollow Prayers, kind of like a more woodsy and kind of beginning of the week kickoff as far as this pitch can happen. Just has a composition, kind of leaving you hungry for more within the aspects. But I definitely think within the product, it's just some good type performance that he probably had some good styles to be able to has pretty good song palette within those pitches. Just being able to say so that's the product there as far as those aspects going to happen. Just being able to look after just a good composition, like doing the sort of stuff that like Juice Wrld short-livedly kind of was able to do, and just Khalid kind of did that for a little while, but it seemed like he kind of had like seems like his time kind of got written up a little bit. I mean, I think he's still kind of somewhat around, but just pitches like that. So this ordeal as far as him being like the new school type one for like the makeshift push as far as this pitch count, which is a good type ordeal. But yeah, in terms of future, like he did drop a 2025 album called Withered. He was working on a deluxe, but supposedly that got canceled. Unfortunately, within those aspects, it was just the tone. It's just the turn of events are kind of pending within these aspects. We'll see what happens, but this is pretty much a classic. And it's definitely a classic in terms of new school pitch like that. Definitely something to check out, but just have to hope things get absolved properly for all parties involved, including Celeste Rivas and folks like that, just in that composition and like what needs to happen in terms of what needs to happen in terms of making it better.